My name's Morin. I'm 31, and that Christmas I unwrapped a gift that pretty much told me everything I needed to know about where I stood. A ceramic mug. White block letters. I peeked in the womb. My sister? She was handed car keys. A brand new set, shiny bow and all. I smiled. Said thank you. Held the mug up like I was auditioning for some tacky game show called Guess Who's the Family Joke. Mom laughed so hard she nearly spilled her mimosa, Dad grinned like he'd just nailed the punchline, and Kay tilted her head, smirking, "You've always been so dramatic." As if that excused anything. I didn't argue. Just gave the polite kind of smile, the kind you paste on in family pictures, the kind that belongs in hostage videos. Then Kay opened her present. It played out like a slow-motion scene from a cheesy holiday commercial. Except instead of a soldier surprising his family or a romantic proposal, it was my parents handing Kay the keys to a silver Audi with dealer plates still attached. She squealed, boots clicking across the porch, chanting no way, like she hadn't already rehearsed it. I trailed behind, not because I wanted to admire the car, but because I needed confirmation I wasn't hallucinating. Sure enough, there it sat in the driveway, brand new, spotless, absurd. Mom touched my arm and said softly, "She needs something safe for job interviews." Like I was supposed to nod, clap, maybe cry a little in solidarity. This is the same sister who bailed on 2 internships in 3 months because she wasn't a morning person. But apparently, she deserved a $23,000 car. I deserved a joke mug. Inside, over cinnamon rolls and champagne, which I'd made, by the way, everyone gushed. Dad raved about investing in Kay's future. Mom teased her about finally having her own car instead of wrecking hers. Kay sniffled dramatically, thanking them for being the best parents in the world. I sat there in silence, sipping coffee that tasted bitter with irony. Later, I put on my coat, hugged them goodbye, and thanked them for the lovely holiday with no sarcasm, no scene. Just quiet. Outside, snow was falling in heavy slants as I slid into my 6-year-old car, the one I'd worked overtime shifts and eaten lentil soup for years to pay off. I started the engine, watched the windshield wipers drag snow aside, and sat there for a while, motionless. Then my phone buzzed. A bank alert. Fraud detection. A charge for $23,748 at Elite Auto Center. I didn't need to Google the name. I'd just seen it on the license plate frame of Kay's shiny new Audi. My throat went dry. Not panic. Not even anger. Just this cold, hollow clarity. I opened my banking app, saw the charge sitting there bold as daylight, not on my main card, but on the just-in-case account. The one I'd given my parents access to years ago. For emergencies. Apparently, emergency now meant buy Kay a luxury car. And me? I was left holding a mug. I drove home in silence. Halfway there, I pulled into a gas station, killed the engine, and started cutting ties. Froze the card. Blocked their access. Cancelled the monthly $600 transfer I'd been quietly sending to help with their mortgage after Dad's surgery. They never exactly asked for that money. I offered. They accepted. And like always, they just never told me when enough was enough. This time, though, I wasn't calling. I wasn't going to scream or demand answers. I'd let the dealership and the bounced mortgage payment do the talking. I dialed one number, fraud services. Calm as ice, I said, "I need to report an unauthorized charge." Only then did I notice the mug had slipped from my lap to the floorboard. It didn't break. Of course it didn't. She blinked, startled. "Morin. I wasn't expecting you." "I know you used my credit card," I said flatly. No hugs, no greetings, just the truth, sharp and unmissable. Her face drained of color, then shifted into a brittle smile, like we were performing in some play and I'd just skipped my cue. "Come inside, it's freezing." I stepped over the threshold. The living room still smelled like pine and gingerbread. Torn wrapping paper littered the floor, and the big red bow from Kay's car keys clung to the fireplace like some smug trophy. Dad sat on the couch with his newspaper, looking as casual as if it were any other morning. "Everything okay?" he asked without looking up. "You bought Kay a car with my emergency card," I replied. $23,000. The paper lowered. His eyes met Mom's. She gave him a look that said, "I'll handle it," then turned toward me. "Well, sweetheart." And I swear, if she'd said it's not what it looks like, I would have hurled that mug through the window. "Kay needed something reliable for interviews," she said instead. "You know how terrible the buses are around here." I laughed, loud and sharp, making Dad flinch. "That's your excuse? You steal from me because Kay doesn't like public transportation?" "It's not stealing," Dad cut in, lifting his hand like a referee. "You gave us access for emergencies." "For emergencies," I snapped. "Not luxury sedans." "Don't be dramatic," Mom said, rolling her eyes. "You make good money. We didn't think it would matter." "You didn't think $23,000 of my money was a big deal?" Silence. That thick, awkward kind of silence where everyone wants to speak but no one dares. And then she appeared, Kay. Fuzzy slippers, full face of makeup, iced coffee in one hand, phone in the other. She glanced at me like I was a cop with a warrant. "What's going on?" "She's upset about the car," Mom said in a delicate whisper. Kay groaned, rolling her eyes so dramatically I swear I could hear it. "Oh my God, Maureen, seriously? You're mad about that? You make 6 figures, you live alone. It's not like you're struggling." "You used my card without permission," I told her evenly. "That's fraud." She snorted. "You're so uptight. This is why you're still single, because you treat money like it's love." I ignored her and turned back to my parents. "Return the car today or pay me back in full. Otherwise, I'm filing a police report." Mom's face crumpled in horror. "You'd do that to your own family? Over a car?" Dad looked older, suddenly worn down. "It's Christmas," Mom whispered, like the holiday itself should absolve them. "You didn't even give me a real gift," I said quietly. "You handed me a joke mug and then used my money to buy her a car." No one answered. So I finished it. "The card's frozen. The bank knows. And I've stopped the monthly transfers. You'll have to manage the mortgage on your own." That hit harder than anything. Mom gasped as if I'd struck her. "You're punishing us." "No," I said. "I'm finally choosing myself." And I left before anyone could cry, beg, or spin another line about family meaning sacrifice. I'd heard it all before. What they really meant was, family means sacrifice, until it inconveniences Kay. I didn't slam the door. They didn't deserve that much energy. Back in my car, I sat with my hands on the wheel, steady. My phone buzzed, confirmation from the bank. "Fraud report filed." I smiled. Not a happy smile, but a real one. Turns out, I didn't peek in the womb. I was just climbing out of it now. It wasn't joy I felt, but something steadier. Relief. Resolve. Later, with coffee in hand, I scrolled back through my old messages until I found the one I'd sent Mom 3 years earlier when I first gave her that emergency card, only for medical or house expenses. Nothing else. I took a screenshot. Downloaded the credit card statement showing the $23,748 charge at Elite Auto Center. Saved the photo I'd taken on Christmas of Kay posing in front of her shiny silver Audi, red bow and all. Evidence. Then I called the non-emergency police line. Explained everything calmly, clearly. An officer asked for documentation, and I sent it. He gave me a case number. Simple. No theatrics. Just facts. I wasn't doing this to hurt them. I was doing it because they crossed a line. And I was done pretending they hadn't. 3 days later, the fallout started. The first was a text from Kay, "You're unbelievable." By afternoon, she'd posted a video on social media, her car being towed. She didn't speak, just stared at the camera with wide, wounded eyes. Caption: "Some people can't stand to see you succeed." She tagged me. I watched once, then closed the app. That night, an old friend of hers messaged me privately. Said they weren't surprised. Kay had been exploiting people for years. Not comfort, but truth, and I appreciated it. The next morning, a voicemail from Mom. Her voice trembled. "The police were here today. They said there's a fraud report against us. Maureen, how could you? You're tearing this family apart. This isn't who we are." I didn't save it. Later, Dad texted, "This has gone too far. We need to talk." I ignored it. By evening, extended family had joined the chorus. My Aunt Diane sent a group message, "Did you really call the police on your own mother?" I typed back one line, "She used my card without permission." I reported it. No one replied after that. The silence was louder than the judgment. Meanwhile, Kay's world began to unravel. She'd lined up a new internship for January, something one of Dad's friends had pulled strings to arrange. Without the car, she had no way to get there. She missed the first few days, and the company cut her loose. After that, she went online, blasting me, said I'd ruined her future, that I was jealous, bitter, heartless. Of course, she skipped the part where she drained my account without asking. Not long after, I got a notification from my old bank. Someone had tried to access the shared mortgage portal, probably my mom. But it was already locked down. All she would have seen was an error screen. Weeks later, a friend forwarded me a real estate listing. Their house was up for sale, by owner. The pictures were grainy, poorly lit, clearly taken on a phone. I scrolled through the slideshow. The living room caught me first, the same place where Kay had been handed a shiny new car key while I got a mug. I went through every photo, one after another. I didn't feel triumphant. Not even vindicated. Just finished. Done explaining, done defending, done being useful only when it suited them. I hadn't heard from them since the fallout. No apologies, no explanations. Just silence. A few days after I filed the report, the bank reversed the charge. The dealership repossessed the car. The refund landed in my account without fanfare, clean, simple, no apologies attached. That night, I sat with a coffee, opened my banking app, and saw everything back in order. My money. My balance. My peace. I thought about Christmas, about their proud faces when Kay squealed over the car. Like they'd done something noble. Something generous. I wondered if they still felt that pride now. The mug I'd been given? Still buried in the trash. I never dug it out. I didn't need a reminder. They broke the rules. I just enforced them. For a while, things stayed quiet. No calls. No guilt-ridden voicemails. Just silence, the kind that waits for you to forget. That had been the family cycle for years, blow up, freeze out, reset. Like nothing ever happened. But this time was different. Eventually, the silence cracked. A text from my mother, "Can we talk?" Just us, like adults. I stared at it for a while. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Another part wanted to look her in the eye and hear what excuse she'd finally landed on. So, I agreed. 1 hour. Public place. Neutral ground. We met at a small cafe near my apartment. No holiday decor, no syrupy pancakes, no cozy corners, just plain tables and too many witnesses for her to cause a scene. She was already there when I walked in. Alone. Dad stayed in the car, she said, too tired. She reached for a hug. I didn't give one back. She didn't look surprised. We sat. She twisted her wedding ring while I sipped my coffee and waited. I've been thinking about everything, she started. I let the silence hang. She filled it, of course. We were under so much pressure, Maureen. Your father's been stressed. Kay's been lost. We didn't mean to hurt you. Of course. They never mean to. She pressed on, you're successful now. You've always been the responsible one. I thought maybe you'd understand. There it was. The backhanded compliment. The guilt-wrapped request. And then she lowered her voice. We're trying to sell the house, but it's taking longer than we hoped. We've fallen behind. If you could just help with the mortgage for a little while, just until things stabilize. I set my cup down. No. Her smile cracked. She leaned in. So you're really going to let your parents lose their home? I looked straight at her. Calm. Even. You treated me like a bank. Banks have terms. You broke them. That hit. Her face deflated, all the air gone out of the performance. We were desperate, she whispered. No. You were entitled, I said. That's different. The conversation fizzled after that. She ended with, I hope time will heal this. I didn't argue. I just didn't ask whose time she meant. Walking home, the quiet followed me again. But this time it wasn't heavy. It felt cleared out. Like a space finally swept clean. 2 days later, my cousin sent me a screenshot from a family group chat I wasn't in. It's disgusting what Maureen did. Calling the police on her own parents. It was just a mistake. That was the new story. Not fraud. Not theft. Just a misunderstanding involving a luxury car. I didn't argue. I simply sent my cousin 3 files, the card statement, the old text where I spelled out the rules, and the police report confirmation. No caption. No explanation. She never messaged again. Kay showed up online soon after, posting vague quotes about betrayal and family, about how support only lasts while you're useful. I didn't engage. I wasn't out to change anyone's mind anymore. People who mattered would see the truth, or they wouldn't. Either way, it wasn't my job. Eventually, the house sold. Probably for less than they wanted, but enough to avoid foreclosure. Someone sent me the listing, but I didn't click. I didn't need to see my childhood packaged into square footage. They moved into a smaller place. Mom emailed me the new address in case things change. I left it unanswered. I wasn't angry anymore. Not bitter. Just done. One morning, while cleaning out a drawer full of odds and ends, I found the old December invoice, the bill for Kay's car. I shredded it, piece by piece. A closing ritual. They used to call me the strong one. The one who didn't need as much. The one who could handle it. What they really meant was, you're easier to ignore. They taught me to stay quiet. Turns out, I was just waiting for the right moment to speak. So, now you know. Some people say I went too far. Others say I didn't go far enough. But I didn't scream, didn't slam doors, didn't burn bridges. I just set a boundary they never thought I'd enforce. But what do you think? Was I wrong to call the police, to report the fraud, to walk away? Or was that the first truly right thing I've done in years? Either way, thanks for listening. And if you want more stories like this, raw, human, and messy, make sure you subscribe.